Hello everyone. Today's topic of discussion is cell wall synthesis inhibitors. So the cell wall synthesis inhibitors depends on five types, that is it can be cidal or static. It also depends on the type of organism they attack. We are studying antimicrobials, so we'll discuss today about the antibiotics or antibacterials. Also depends on their chemical structure, their source of origin, that is, if it is antibiotic or non-antibiotics. Antibiotics are obtained from the microorganisms itself and used against another microorganism. The fifth one is mechanism of action. For mechanism of action, consider a bacterial cell, right? Bacterial cell. This is cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus. We have DNA inside it, and the protein it's synthesizing. Right. So today we are uh, discussing cell wall synthesis inhibitors. So these these organisms will act on inhibit the synthesis of cell. So let's go ahead. Some of the drugs you can remember by the pneumonia firmly bind to bacterial cell wall. From F is phosphomycin. From B it is beta-lactams, bacitracin, cycloserine, vancomycin. Another point to be noted here that phosphomycin is used against urinary tract infection. Bacitracin is used topical, and the cycloserine is used against tuberculosis. Right, and but the side effect of this is neuropsychiatric. I mean, neuropsychiatric manifestations are there. Another thing for bacitracin is that I also told you that it is used topically to prevent infections like MRSA, that is methicillin resistant staph aureus infections. And mupirocin is used for MRSA prophylaxis. What is prophylaxis? It is we give drugs to prevent the reoccurrence of any disease. So we say prophylaxis. So mupirocin is used for prophylaxis of MRSA. It is we give drugs to prevent the reoccurrence of any disease. So we say prophylaxis. So mupirocin is used for prophylaxis of MRSA. Now let's start with beta-lactams. So here, why do we say them beta-lactam? Let's talk about their chemical structures. In beta-lactams, we have primary beta-lactam ring. This is the primary ring and this is the secondary ring. So on the basis of secondary rings, Beta-lactams are classified into different drugs, that is penicillins, cephalosporins, carbapenems, and the monobactam. Now the point where here we have to note is that these three penicillin cephalosporins have different secondary rings, but the monobactam has only one ring, that is primary beta-lactam ring. That's why we say it as monobactam. Right now, let's move on to penicillins. Oldest of penicillin is penicillin G that we used from very old time. Pen G, or we can say benzyl penicillin is another name for it. So, what are the limitations of this penicillin? First of all, it is not effective orally as it is acid labile. So the acid breaks down the penicillin. So IV, we should give that IV. This is not effective orally. Second thing is it is short acting, as it is this is short acting. And another thing we have to note here is it really have narrow spectrum. What do we understand by spectrum? That it mainly acts against a very few bacteria, like only gram positive bacteria. Another thing to note here is that many bacteria develop resistance against it, and many people are allergic to it also. Monas, Klebsiella, right? And this is the largest group. And the penicillin G was not effective against this largest group, that is gram negative bacteria. That's why we used to say that pen G has the very narrow spectrum. So to overcome this problem, we have developed the extended spectrum penicillin. Extended spectrum penicillin. You can remember the drugs by a mnemonic. A city map. From A it is ampicillin. From C it is carbenicillin, ticarcillin, methicillin, azlocillin, and piperacillin. These are the extended spectrum penicillins. And one thing to note here is that these, I mean, till piperacillin, they are effective against Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is a very dangerous gram-negative bacteria, but except this, with ampicillin, amoxicillin also. So These drugs are effective against Pseudomonas living with A drugs. Right. Now going back to our fourth limitation, people usually develop resistance against penicillin. How they develop resistance? Like consider a bacteria, right? So they develop enzymes, penicillin, penicillinases, which can kill penicillin. Like if penicillin Pen-G is coming, so the penicillinases act and break down the Pen-G, and it is no longer effective. So we developed some techniques so the penicillin won't kill the penicillinases won't kill the penicillin. If they have penicillinases, we can have a shield which can protect our penicillin. We name this as beta lactamase inhibitor. Why do we say beta lactamases? Because it inhibits penicillin, or it will be another name of penicillinases itself. So when we have beta lactamase inhibitor, it will inhibit the penicillinases, right? So what are those inhibitors? We can remember by mnemonic CST. C is clavulanic acid, sulbactam, tazobactam, but they are specific for this specific drug. Clavulanic acid is given with amoxicillin, sulbactam with ampicillin, and this is given with piperacillin. Along with the penicillinases inhibitor, we can also have penicillinases resisting penicillin. So uses of penicillin. We can remember the uses by mnemonic last man go. Right. For L we can have that this is effective against diphtheria, against actinomycosis, syphilis, tetanus, for meningococcal infection, against anthrax, and against gonococcus. But here to note is drug of choice for gonococcus is ceftriaxone. In anthrax also, Pen-G is given, but ciprofloxacin can also be given, but Pen-G is given more. And in tetanus also, Pen-G is widely used, but metronidazole can also be used. In listeria infection, drug of choice is ampicillin, but Pen-G can also be used. So we talked about that penicillin is used for meningococcal infection. So let's divide it into treatment for meningococcal and the prophylaxis. For treatment, for empirical treatment, now what do we understand by empirical treatment? That we are not sure. It can be meningo, it can be any other infection. So for empirical treatment, we give ceftriaxone, C, ceftriaxone, which can also kill the other likely organism if we don't know it is meningococcus only. For definitive treatment, when we know that it is meningococcus only, we use Benji, of course, penicillin, when we are 100% sure. For prophylaxis, we give uh, we give three drugs: rifampicin, ceftriaxone, and ciprofloxacin. Prophylaxis. It is the most effective drug, most effective against meningococcal infection, and it is also safe in pregnancy and for child also. But one limitation for this is it has to be given IV. It is injectable drug. So practically it is not possible. I mean, for prophylaxis, it is not possible to give IV regularly. So the another drug we discussed is ciprofloxacin. This is the oral drug, although not as much effective as ceftriaxone, but still it is effective. This is the drug of choice we consider for chemoprophylaxis. For mass prophylaxis, this drug is given, but this is again contraindicated in pregnancy and for child also. So this was all about penicillins. In my next video, we will discuss about another drugs like cephalosporin, cardiac bronchopneumonia. Thank you for watching. Thank you. If you do like this video, then like and share. Thanks a lot.